I could have been twice as rich if I had made one small, foolish mistake 50 years ago. This is a complaint, it's a lesson, a reminder. Wealth isn't built on brilliance alone, it's built on avoiding stupidity, and stupidity usually comes disguised as urgency. People want to get rich fast. They chase lottery tickets, hot stocks, trends they don't understand, or leverage they can't manage. That's the oldest trap in the world. Most financial ruin shares the same root cause: impatience. Wanting results before you've earned them is a sure path to disaster. I've lived long enough to see patterns repeat across generations, from the stock mania of this, to the dot-com frenzy in this, to the housing bubble in. Every era has its own flavor of foolishness, but the cause is always the same: impatience and envy, often dressed as confidence or opportunity. Getting rich slowly sounds boring, but boring works. If you keep your costs low, reinvest your earnings, and avoid catastrophic mistakes, wealth quietly compounds. I grew up during the Great Depression, witnessing families lose everything, not because they weren't hardworking, but because they took on too much risk when times were good. Those memories burned into me early. Never assume that good times will last. Prepare for the worst. That mindset alone will make you richer than 90% of people, because most will bet on luck, assume stability, or ignore history. I was never in a hurry. Buffett and I built Berkshire halfway, brick by brick, deal by deal. No fireworks, no genius moves, just patience, the kind most people cannot stomach. If you want excitement, go to Las Vegas. If you want lasting wealth, embrace boredom. Most people want tips, hacks, and shortcuts, but shortcuts and money usually lead to detours, mistakes, and misery. I've seen wealthy men go broke because they couldn't sit still. I've seen ordinary men grow wealthy simply by saving steadily and owning productive businesses for decades. The difference wasn't intelligence, it was temperament. The fastest way to get rich is to stop chasing speed. I didn't plan to become a billionaire, I just stayed rational longer than most. I avoided envy, avoided debt, avoided drama, and let compounding do the work. Envy is the most useless of all vices. Lust may give you pleasure, gluttony a good meal, even anger energy, but envy gives nothing but misery. I grew up watching people ruin themselves with envy, obsessing over a neighbor's car, a cousin's luck, or a colleague's promotion, instead of improving their own lives. Envy drives stupidity in markets. People buy stocks they don't understand simply because someone else made money. They pile into bubbles out of fear of being left behind. I've seen this repeatedly. In the late internet, stocks made ordinary people millionaires on paper. Every cab driver had a tip. Everyone felt stupid if they weren't participating. When the bubble burst, envious speculators lost everything. The cure is simple: play your own game. Focus on your progress. Ignore what others have. Compounding doesn't care about the neighbor's gains. Patience and rationality do. I've made plenty of mistakes too. One of my dumbest was holding on to cigar, but investments too long, buying terrible businesses cheaply in hopes of squeezing the last half of value. And Graham taught this, and it worked in his day, but it's miserable. You're stuck with bad companies, bad management, and bad prospects. Even Berkshire itself started as a cheap, dying textile company. That decision cost billions in opportunity. The lesson: the world rewards discipline, not cleverness. Know when to stop taking. Switch strategies when necessary. Buying great businesses at fair prices instead of fair businesses at great prices changed everything. Mistakes compound as well. Holding dumb ideas long enough multiplies losses. Study failures as much as successes. Avoid repeating them. You don't need brilliancy, just rational, patient decisions. Overconfidence is the silent killer. People think they know more than they do, and markets punish it. I never invest in things I don't understand. I stay within my circle of competence. Technology, trends, or complex innovations pass if I don't understand them. Most people can't resist believing they are smarter than they are, chasing speculation, fads, or shortcuts. But those who survive in the long run admit what they don't know. Humility and rationality are far more valuable than intelligence. The survivors quietly avoid mistakes, they don't chase brilliance. The people who last the longest in investing and business are not the smartest, they are the most disciplined and patient. They make fewer errors, and they survive the storms others don't. Ownership is another key to lasting wealth. Employees get paid for time, owners get paid for results, sometimes forever. Early in my life, I realized trading hours for money was soul crushing. Time doesn't compound, money does. Knowledge compounds. I quit practicing law and focused on businesses that could grow without me seeking ownership. Buffett agreed. Owning businesses where large stakes means you win if the business performs. Careerism offers security for a paycheck, but ownership builds true wealth. It creates freedom. See's candy sells every Christmas, Coca-Cola sells every day, even when I sleep. That's the power of ownership. Save and invest until you own a piece of something productive. That's how wealth endures. Yet, drama and foolish people destroy wealth. Yet enslaves, drama distracts, fools infect you with bad habits. Avoid all three. Discipline beats genius. Buffett and I succeeded not through magical insights, but because of shared temperament, patience, rationality, and trust. We did fight over scraps. We did follow the crowd. We avoided stupidity, and compounding quietly turned our lives into lasting wealth. Boring decisions survive. So, patient, rational actions, these are the foundation of lasting riches. Most people want shortcuts, thrills, and tips. Ignore them. Play the long game. Avoid envy. Avoid overconfidence. Study failures. Embrace boredom. That's the truth you want to hear, but it's the only way to grow rich and stay rich forever. The Great Depression shaped everything I did. Families lost everything overnight, banks failed, businesses disappeared, and people were reduced to begging. That taught me caution, suspicion of debt, and the fragility of prosperity. Status, luxury, or titles mean nothing in a crisis. Survival comes first, everything else follows. Modern society encourages consumption, flashy cars, bigger homes, but leverage can quickly become a noose. Cash, productive assets, and a calm mind endure. That's boring, yes, but boring survives. Boring is how fortunes last. Avoid debt. Avoid drama. Avoid fools. Discipline and patience build wealth. Brilliance is optional. Trust, rationality, and patience matter more than luck or genius. That's the lesson Buffett and I live by, and it works every time. Compounding, discipline, and ownership, those three pillars create lasting wealth. Ignore the crowd, avoid envy, and play your long game. That's the path to real, enduring riches. I could write pages about small habits, like how I avoided credit cards, never over-leveraged, and consistently invested in safe, predictable businesses. I focused on long-term cash flow, not short-term gains. I avoided trends I didn't understand. I studied human behavior, market psychology, and the inevitability of cycles. I accepting that life and markets are unpredictable, I could act rationally, patiently, and conservatively. That mindset is more important than luck or genius. You don't need to hit a home run, you need to avoid striking out disastrously. Most people spend their lives as careerists. They climb ladders, polish resumes, chase titles. That works if you want a salary, but it does build lasting wealth. Ownership, equity, and stakes in productive businesses matter more. When you own, you don't wake up worrying if the boss likes you. You wake up knowing that if the business performs, you win. Careerists often confuse titles with security. A title's in the moment you stop working. Ownership endures. Time compounds, money compounds, career titles do not. That's why ownership, patience, and rational decision-making outperform talent alone. History repeats or rhymes. Boom and bust cycles are inevitable. Markets crash. Houses lose value. Businesses fail. Only those who survive the cycles grow wealth. Debt magnifies losses, drama distracts, fools ruin progress. Avoiding these three is more powerful than any stock tip, formula, or trick. Discipline is far more valuable than brilliance. Wealth is boring, slow, patient, and predictable, but it endures. If you want to get rich and stay rich, focus on boring fundamentals, not flashy schemes. Ignore hype. Avoid envy. Play your long game. Let compounding quietly work its magic.